Aloha everyone and welcome to another Tinkers Academy video. I'm your host Kay Elmer and this video is another installment in the series Welcome to LeelaQ, also known as Leela Quantum Tech, where I'm kind of going over all of the frequently asked questions that are popping up in the Telegram chat group for new and existing customers so that you can kind of get a more lengthy explanation to one of some of the many questions that come up all the time. So today's video is about quantum healing. So, that literally is one of the biggest questions. If I were to say what are the top five, it is definitely one of the top five where people will come into the Telegram chat group or even be attracted to, the whole idea of Leela Quantum Tech or quantum upgrade because they have something that they want to heal, whether it's an issue with themselves or it's an issue with their loved one, but there seems to be a overriding, that's the momentous, right, of why people come to Leela Quantum Tech and they're seeking out solutions. So here's the video on what the recommendation is from me as it relates to using Leela Quantum Tech or quantum upgrade for healing. So because this one is kind of touching on a sensitive subject, there's definitely a disclaimer. I want to make sure everyone's really clear that neither Leela Quantum Tech nor the Tinkers Academy recommend or endorse any specific tests, physicians, procedures, opinions, or other information that may be mentioned in this video. Reliance on any information appearing and discussed in this video is solely at everyone's own risks. Statements made have not been evaluated by the EFSA or FDA or any governmental derivatives thereof. Leela Quantum Tech products and products that Leela Quantum Tech may represent are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So the contents of this video is my opinion, and it's also the experience of what other people have been reporting in our Telegram chat group, for which I've been a moderator since the day it started. So first thing I want everyone to realize about the concept of quantum healing as it relates to Leela Quantum Tech. Now, because outside of that world, it actually has a different definition, but in quantum healing, as it relates to Leela Quantum Tech, it really kind of is something that is it touches on three of the four aspects of what I would consider whole body healing. So I really just want to point out that there is no silver bullet, there's no one size fit all to anything having to do with our health and healing, because we all have a different starting point. Every single one of us has a different toxic load level, different pathogen load level, different chronic conditions they've been dealing with, different genetics. I mean, we're so different than each other that there's no one size fit all, there's no silver bullet, and doing any of this stuff may or may not have the results you're seeking. So just keep that in mind. But the whole idea, though, there's really four components to whole body healing in general. And there's the aspect of you have a biology. I mean, regardless of the fact that the most important aspect of your health is your consciousness, because, we all know our thoughts can make us sick, right? Well, our thoughts can also make us well. So, our thoughts are the overriding, just omnipresence of everything about our reality, which includes our health and our physical stamina. But the concept, though, is that just because that it's really rare, obviously, for people who have that level of consciousness to control that. So the most of us are stuck in we're mere mortals stuck in the world of biology. We have a meat sack, and that meat sack requires a whole bunch of stuff in order to heal and stay healthy. Okay, so there's that one aspect, and that's where Leela just doesn't go. But Leela does actually work on raising consciousness. The blocks do, and the quantum upgrade do. It also obviously is an energy, a life force energy that perpetuates all of life, right? And so there's that quantum energy aspect. So it brings that energy in, and it amplifies the energy that that you have within your biology, right? And then there's the vibrational aspect, what's also known as frequency medicine. But it's like everything is frequency. So Leela touches on vibration, energy, and consciousness. So it's a really nice compliment to anyone's medicine cabinet at their house, in terms of like, hey, when I have an issue that's regarding my health, whether myself or my loved ones, includes your pets, right, includes plants too, that I can how do you use Leela Quantum Tech for these purposes? So let's jump right into that. Now, the very first thing I want to make sure you're very aware of, and this is the only caution about all of this stuff, is that on the left side of this page right here are the measured biological reactions from all of the various studies. There's well over 60 third-party, independent, placebo-controlled studies, literally the gold standard for doing scientific studies, hired by Leela. So they've hired universities and clinics and institutes to do all of these studies. And this is the list of what happens, and it's scientifically proven, multiple studies, that when you are exposed to quantum energy, that this stuff is going to happen to your body. You're probably not going to feel any of it, right? I mean, how do you feel your white blood cell count increasing? But this is what's going to happen. And because this actually has a real, tangible, measurable, scientifically proven physical reaction in your body, then there have been people, and it's quite a few people have reported that they're having some kind of a detox reaction, because when all of this in your body is being stimulated by the quantum energy, depending again on your starting point, if you've got a heavy toxic load, you're not somebody who detoxes constantly and that sort of thing, but we all have a different reaction to different things. And so some people will have what we call a detox reaction. And that's why the recommendation, Philip mentions this in all of his interviews: drink lots of water, start low, build up. I mean, the whole idea behind the capsules, right, is there's 5 spheres. The recommendation is start with 1 and then build up to the full 5 for full, the full power, and all of that kind of stuff. So, and same thing with quantum upgrade. Start low, you can turn up the dial later, but just get used to it. If you're brand new to energy medicine, take it slow. Don't jump into the deep end if you aren't sure, how well you can swim. All right. So there are detox reactions. And so just be very aware of that. And then the recommendation is, whether it's you're trying to do healing or just, work on your health, start slow, start low, and don't just jump into the deep end of the pool. So be aware there are detox reactions, and those reactions can all the way go up from just being really thirsty to fatigue, affecting your sleep, headaches. I mean, I've heard so many different variations of, hey, I just started doing this and I feel weird. And, and then recommendation immediately to them is turn the volume down, take out the spheres, right? That sort of thing. So that's the first caution. The second caution here is, if you have a chronic condition, and this kind of happens a lot, where people will come into the Telegram chat groups and say, my grandfather or so-and-so, they're in, stage 4 cancer, going through chemotherapy, or they've, they're like a later stage, type 3 diabetic and, not doing well, but whatever, right? But if somebody is really chronic, and they've got like severe dementia, or all these chronic problems, then turning on energy to them, there's 2 things that are going to happen, right? The concept of a starting point. Well, if all of this, based on the science, will give your body an incremental lift in performance in terms of like improving white blood cell count. Well, what does white blood cells do? Well, they go around and scavenge, viruses and things like that. There's also decreasing your parasitic load, improving oxygenation. I mean, all of these things that are actually happening in you. Well, if it's going to happen to someone who's in general good health, there'll be an incremental lift and they'll feel a little bit better. But if you're really, 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 really bad off, then the issue is that incremental lift might not do anything. I mean, it's going to do something, but will it be impactful? Will it turn them around? Will they wake up tomorrow and jump out of bed? We have to be realistic, okay? So for chronic conditions, your starting point or their starting point is so bad, this will help a little, but I'm just wanting to make sure everyone's got clear expectations, okay? But if you're in general good health, it's going to be really beneficial. If you're in really, really poor health, it's going to be beneficial. Science says it will be, but just be careful that the expectations are set realistically. And secondly, too, that whole detox reaction thing. If someone's been undergoing chemo, they've had poison pumped into their system. And if you start to try to detox that poison out of them too fast, they're going to get overwhelmed. There's this whole thing about something called a Herxheimer reaction. It's a reaction to a severe reaction to detoxing that happens too fast, faster than your body can handle, and then you have this Herxheimer reaction, and you could possibly make someone worse if they're severely chronic and you turn it on full power or put them in a block for an hour, just so be careful. Okay, be careful about the detox reaction, and be careful with people who have chronic conditions. Okay, that's the only cautions I want. I just want to make sure everyone's really clear, level set expectations. So now here's the first thing. Now, Quantum Upgrade is an incredible, great service, and there's lots of different things you could do, but it's a little bit limited because you can't customize. Okay, but this is what you can do. So if you are trying to work on injuries, illnesses, or chronic conditions, then really what you're going to do, and this is my recommendation, is that you're going to want to do energy, especially for an injury. Okay, so if you have an injury, you're going to want to go max during the day, low at night. Now, again, as I just mentioned, though, chronic conditions go low, low, but the whole idea, though, for an injury, you want to go max during the day. You just want to give yourself that energy. Having a Quantum Upgrade subscription to help with your injury is a really good idea. Okay. Now, in terms of boosting, if you have an injury, you're going to want to do at least twice a day at max level, for as long as you feel that it feels good for you. And then for frequencies, for that, I would recommend for injuries, the pain reconciliation, because most first thing's going to happen when you have an injury, it's going to hurt. So there's this great frequency called pain reconciliation that'll help you manage that pain. The inflammatory support, because the next thing up, right, is everything starts to swell up. So you want that inflammation support, and then using either one of the two heal frequencies. Okay, now there's two different heal frequencies, and I want to just make sure everyone's really clear. Not a lot of people realize this, but heal in Leela world doesn't mean the word heal like healing, like like this whole video is about. It actually stands for, it's an acronym, and it stands for Holistic Experience Abundance and Love. Okay, and it's their acronym for that product. But there's two different ones, and just the regular heal is more of a general health and general better, getting, feeling better, or having your body, kind of be better, I guess, it would be the simplest way to put it. It's also heavily on the emotive side, working on emotions, but it's also for physical, but it's really kind of that source energy stuff, right? The Heal 360 is completely a molecular frequency, and that's really designed for actual physical healing. Okay, so if I were to break an arm or something like that, I mean, if I really had, like let's say just an immediate injury, that I wanted to work on, I would use Heal 360. Or if I had a long-term chronic back pain, I would use regular Heal. Okay, or Heal 360. Either one is great, but that's kind of the idea behind injuries. Is you got the deal. You have the pain frequency, the inflammation frequency, and either one of the Heal ones will be very beneficial for injuries. Now, for illnesses as well, when you have just like a regular illness, the energy, the boosts, and the frequencies are awesome for that. Now, the chronic conditions, again, one more time, it's a little separate, but you want to go low to, it's all the same stuff, but you just want to start really low and work up to that. Okay, but the same idea would be to help with that inflammation, help with, and using Heal. The Heal frequencies are really great for that. Now, in terms of you have a cognitive issue, so there have been people, and there's been studies as well, ADHD and autism and those sorts of things. They've actually had an autism study, as most of you know, and in that study they used energy, then they used frequency, and then they customized the frequency and used capsules. So everyone got an individual capsule they were wearing, and the frequency they used was the focus frequency. They actually developed that for that study. So if you have any kind of issues with, you have somebody or yourself, and you're dealing with one of those types of situations, the focus frequency is really good. Another frequency that was really used, which is also an emotional issue frequency, which was also used in other autism types of efforts, like the actual original pilot that kind of kicked off the formal study was using the inner peace frequency, and it worked really well. It was just an adult male, a young adult with autism, and we used inner peace frequency for this individual because he had that form of autism, which, he had fits of anger and rage, right? And inner peace was very beneficial for that individual. So, so if there's an emotional issue that's either tied to cognitive or separate, then the frequency of inner peace is really great. It's really great if you're grieving. It's really great if you've suffered loss, like breakups and just, you're just, all that kind of stuff. Inner peace will really be very, very beneficial for quantum healing, that kind of stuff. Opening up your heart chakra is a really great frequency for dealing with emotional issues. And then resurrection, or using the TraumEZ service itself. I want to point out that there's a ton of science behind the idea that trauma gets trapped in our body as a negative frequency, and then by using these frequencies, you can help kind of work on that trauma. And if you can release that trauma or release that negative frequency and kind of get it out of you, then it has that whatever it's tied to. Most traumas are tied to physical things within the body, and there's a whole science behind. You eliminate trauma, you eliminate the physical thing that it's creating and manifesting within your body. So, if you want to kind of heal an emotional issue, but sometimes healing trauma can also help you with physical healing, okay? So now let's talk about the Leela Blocks in terms of using Leela Blocks for healing. This is where you can get full-on creative, because you just, you can create custom stuff. But really, what I want to say is that and I'm going to walk you through some case studies, but the idea here is that you're going to want to charge whatever you hurt. And this is kind of the guidance. This is because we know it works. It worked on somebody that we know. And so, and that individual, basically it was how they relieved their issue was twice a day, 15 minutes each time. And that really expedited their, remember now there's a science study that actually proved that it does wound healing, that it regenerates, it helps the body up to almost twice as fast. Your body will start, healing the wounds, healing your wounds, growing, regenerative tissue to, heal wounds. And that includes obviously mending bones and things like that. So that's what the person did, was twice a day, 15 minutes. Or like if you're someone like myself and I hurt my knee once, I put my knee in my infinity block and just sat and watched the whole movie, 90 minutes, so it doesn't matter. You can go longer, but the bare minimum, I guess is the best way to say it, is twice a day, 15 minutes. Put the injured part of your body in your block. Then you also can use photos, but I want to caveat, frequencies, that you need to use frequencies with a photo of you or whomever you're trying to help. Okay, it's so important. You never use a frequency inside the block with you in the block. Okay, you don't want to copy the frequency into your body. All right, long story short, just don't do it. I'll go into that later if anybody wants to know. But the bottom line is, so just when you're using frequencies and blocks and you want to kind of send the frequency just like you could with Quantum Upgrade, you want to use a photo of you, which is basically emulating what Quantum Upgrade does. So you would take a photo of you, your dog, your pet, your mom, your dad, whoever you're helping, and you put them in the block, the photo of that person in the block, and then you put the pain, the frequency, the card, or hopefully you copied it to a piece of foil, and you put the frequency on a foil in the block with the picture of the person, pet, or whatever, and then you're going to basically be able to kind of help them, and you basically can help them with their pain, is a great frequency, like I mentioned, inflammation, and any one of the heals, okay? I have done that quite a bit, and the people who I've helped have reported, that it helped them, that they actually felt better. And the way I do it is I just put their photo in, put this one individual, and I put their photo in and put the pain frequency in there, and kind of forgot about it. And then the very next day I checked up on him, and the thing was still in there from the day before. And that person was like, yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm like, awesome. So you can leave them in there. I've left my photo, I've left people's photos in for literally weeks at a time. And it's not something honestly that Philip recommends, but that's what I've tried and done. I tinker constantly with what's possible, and nothing bad has ever happened with all the tinkering that I've done. So let me kind of just show you one thing. This is where that twice a day, 15 minutes. 3 years ago, Philip's son is a motocross racer. Young man, great, brilliant, and very accomplished, successful, competitive racer. Well, 3 years ago, in one of his races in motocross, Philip's son, this is Philip von Holzendorf, the owner-operator of Leela Quantum Tech, his son had an accident on the track and broke both of his wrists. And this was during the racing season, okay? And so here's a picture of him at the ER. Philip brought his infinity block to the ER, and the first thing he did was put his son's wrists in the infinity block, both wrists, trading back and forth, 15 minutes, twice a day. That's where we got that from. And so when he did that, and of course he also, he was also doing all the other stuff that the ER and his doctors were doing. But what happened was he continually kept using the infinity block twice a day, every day, up for like, for weeks. All right. But this is what the story goes. The doctor was like, yeah, you're not going to race anymore this season. The season had months to go. And he's like, you have to give up racing this year. There's just no way. You got both your wrists are broken. There's no way. Well, guess what? They did everything the doctor told them to do. And the doctor said, yeah, it's going to be like 3 months minimum before you'll ever ride a motorcycle again. The kid was back up on a motorcycle in just a few weeks. That's how fast he healed. And so that's like the success story that kind of kicked off this whole thing when this happened 3 years ago. And it's just a remarkable, the kid was back on his motorcycle in a few weeks, racing and winning his races again. That's how fast his wrist healed after he had broken them, and just using the infinity block plus whatever his doctor was helping with. Now you'll also find these, by the way, all these photos I'm showing you are all in Telegram. Just go to the Telegram chat group, the Quantum Power group, click on media, and all of these photos are all in there with the other thousands of photos. So there's now recent cases where one of the members, this is right out of these are our members. This is you guys. Somebody posted that they bashed their toe. They put it in the infinity block. I don't recall how long they had it in, but they were using their infinity block to heal their toe. And within days, or very rapidly, and this is why they posted it, because they were astonished how well it worked. Was they posted, hey, this is what my toe looked like, and after I used the infinity block, whoa, look at all that bruising gone. It healed so quickly in terms of their bashed toe. Another individual came in, had some kind of a circulatory problem in their hand. You could see where their fingers were going white for lack of blood flow. Put their hand in the block, and then look at that. It's just a major improvement in a short period of time. So that's the power of quantum energy, whether it's quantum upgrade or using a block and applying that energy to you and having this list of incredible effects happening to your body, in that whole wound healing thing. Okay, so now the next one I want to get to is this one here. We're using LeelaQ Blocks. I just covered injuries, so let's talk about using blocks for illness and chronic conditions, cognitive issues, and emotional. It's exactly the same as that you would do, as I mentioned, in quantum upgrade. All right, so so not a whole lot of difference. Instead of quantum upgrade and you turn on that frequency, you would put your photo in a block. Remember now, use a photo. Put your photo in the block, put the frequency in the block, and that frequency is going to go to you in the photo, or whoever is in the photo. Okay, it's going to go to that person, that pet, whatever. So chronic conditions and illnesses, you definitely want to do inflammation support, because a lot of illnesses and chronic conditions are related to inflammation. So inflammation is great for that. And obviously if you have a block, you need to go to the website and acquire the frequency off of the website. If you are on quantum upgrade, you just subscribe to the bundle. So, but you want to definitely use inflammation, and the recommendation is also use either one of the two heal frequencies. Okay, and try both of them and see which one works for you. But that's the approach I would recommend for illnesses and chronic conditions. Now, if you have a cognitive issue, same thing. Again, photo with the focus frequency. And then also with emotional issues, photo with any one of those three frequencies that help on people on the emotional level. So inner peace, heart chakra, or resurrection frequency would be great for that. So that's kind of what I would do. Use your photo, use some frequencies, put them in the block for these kinds of things, and they're very helpful. Okay. Now, the other possibilities I do want to recommend in the video is the using energy, just pure on energy. If you're just using energy, and instead of charging you, charge your food and charge your water, and then that way you're taking in this life force energy, and it's obviously going through you. So not only are you charging yourself, you're charging the sustenance that drives your biology, and then specifically with food. If your chronic condition has anything to do with digestion, charge your food. Just do that. If you have any digestive problems, charge your food before you eat it, and then you will see. You will see some results, because there's a food intolerance study that showed incredible results just by charging food on and that effect on the food when people who were allergic to it or had sensitivities to it would ingest the food after it had been charged. So the thing about food now, if you're using food as a medicine, I guess would be a good explanation, like food as medicine, right? Then you're going to want to charge it longer than what it says in the timing guidelines. And what they learned in the study was a minimum 4 minutes, okay, in an infinity block. So that's what you should do. Okay, just giving you a heads up on that. But charge your food and water. Super healthy for your body in general. Super, super healthy if you've got digestive issues that you're dealing with, you're allergic to stuff. But more so, if you have digestive issues, really helpful. Now, in terms of other possibilities, using frequency via a photo, can't stress that enough. Now, the other thing is creating an infoceutical. Now, what an infoceutical is the word for when I imprint stuff onto water. So all of the water that I drink in my house, I have a water filter thing under my sink. I put it into a pitcher. I keep 2 pitchers in my fridge, but before it goes into the pitcher, it goes into my grand block, and I actually imprint the frequency of the vitamins and minerals and anti-aging supplements that I take daily. So not only am I taking the physical supplements, I'm imprinting the frequency of those supplements into the water. And when you take frequencies and copy it to the water you drink, that's what the word is. It's an infoceutical, because the water has picked up the information from whatever you've copied to it. Okay, that's just where that came from. So you can create infoceutical, and you can also do that with any of the medicines you're taking, any of the homeopathic remedies you're taking, anything, any kind of shamanic, message or whatever you are doing. Imprint that to the water, and then start using that as your source of water, and so you're drinking the frequency of that healing frequency, right? That healing frequency will then go with everything that you drink and go to all your cells. Now, the other thing, this is the absolute beauty of the blocks, is you can customize your own frequencies. So I'll give you an example. My neighbor has a German Shepherd, very old German Shepherd, struggling with hip dysplasia. And so, I saw the dog, and I was like, well, let me see if I can help your dog. And so what I did, with permission, got a picture of the dog. And then I went and I just did the research on how do you treat hip dysplasia, and got a bunch of natural, it's all organic, natural, non-GMO. Just align yourself with nature, because quantum energy is nature. Align with it. And I just kind of made up a hip dysplasia booster, and so it was like inflammation stuff was in there, and hip support like glucosamine and MSM and all of this stuff that was for helping dogs with basically orthopedic issues. And I put together a booster. I created a custom frequency just for this dog. And then I put the dog's picture in my infinity block with that frequency, and it's been in there since for like several weeks now. And then also I chatted with Philip about it, and he's like, yeah, and he also said, oh, on top of that, that's good, but use the Heal for Dogs frequency on top of that. So now I've got in my infinity block, I've got that dog in there with my hip. I'll just call it hip dysplasia frequency booster thing I made. And then also on Quantum Upgrade, I put the dog on Quantum Upgrade with Heal for Dogs. So she's getting double energy, 2 different frequencies. And I can tell, it's been a few weeks, I can tell that she's moving a little bit better, but it's chronic, it's significant. It kind of goes back to my original point. Her starting point on this was bad, and this is only giving her a little bit of relief, but I can tell because every now and then she'll kind of run up to me as opposed to limp slowly. And so I've seen an improvement, but it's a slight improvement. We're not making miracles here. We're just trying to help, and this definitely has demonstrated to help that dog. Now, the other thing too, now you can also use your Leela Capsules. This is a really cute picture that was posted in Telegram, where someone's dog had hurt their back, and so the person had placed the capsule over where it hurts, and that's the first thing I would recommend. Is a capsule is a pretty strong little thing. Okay, it's not a block. It's definitely not Quantum Upgrade, but it's pretty powerful. And so now full 5 spheres, place the capsule over the issue. There's also pictures of other people placing capsules on their different parts of their body in the media section, but this was the cutest one. So little Frenchie hurt his back, and the owner put the capsule right on his back to kind of help send some quantum energy right to that spot that was hurting the little dog. Also, you can use frequencies. Now, one of the things about frequencies and capsules is you can customize customize any frequency you want. So now there's a method for that. It's called using a sphere packet. You copy a frequency of a medicine or a supplement or essential oil or whatever you want to use. You can copy it using the spheres of the capsule in a little foil packet, and you can copy it to another piece of foil. And then you could take that little piece of foil that has the frequency copy to it and put that inside your capsule. I did a video on that, and look up the video, how to use your super capsule. Okay, it's a tutorial that shows you how to do that. So using your capsules, you can create your own customized foil. And that would have been like if I didn't have a block and I wanted to help the dog, that my neighbor's German Shepherd, I could have easily just used a capsule, and I could have burned it, and I would have put that capsule on the dog's collar if that's all I had to use. All right, but that's how I would have done it. I would have used the sphere packet method and using a capsule. So that's how you can help and use quantum healing for dogs, people, plants even, using the Leela Capsules. That's how you can use the Leela Blocks, and that's how you can use Quantum Upgrade for healing. So I'm going to leave you here now. Just want to say thanks for watching, but I want to just kind of show you a little slideshow. I just grabbed like the top 30 photos in the media section just to show you guys. This is you guys posting pictures about how you're using the Quantum Upgrade and the Quantum Blocks for your healing and capsules for your healing purposes. This is actually Dave Asprey. He's got his arm. I don't know what he's got, but he's hooked up doing some kind of blood thing. But he's got his arm, and he's using that for his healing. There's also, this was a post, someone hurt their arm. They put their arm in their travel block. This lady said she had a really stiff neck. Took 2 rods off for a travel block, put it on her neck, got relief. Of course, people with headaches have put their heads in the block. There's lots of people with their heads in the block. Seems to be the #1 sport is put your head in your block. And of course, this person hurt their hand, got relief from that. I personally once burnt my hand in my kitchen, and I stuck it in my infinity block while I was watching TV. I don't know how long, but whenever I was watching and I finally was finished, the pain was gone. The pain never came back, and it just healed from that point forward. And I felt like it healed faster. I wasn't timing it or anything, but it immediately got rid of the pain. I mean, immediately meaning whatever show I was watching. But that's what happened to me. And so yeah, it definitely works. In terms of helping heal faster and pain. Of course, people love putting their pets in their blocks. So yeah, if you have any issues with your health of your pets, we've got everything from ferrets, a lot of dogs. Pictures of people love putting their dogs in the block. There's a lot of dog pictures of just people putting their dogs in the block, and especially if their dog had like an accident or their dog has surgery. There's lots of reasons why it's a great idea to put your dog in the block. If you have a small block, you can obviously separate the plates, but charging your dog and your cats is something that people really like to do to help their animals feel better and do some quantum healing. This is an example of separating your plates and putting your cat in your infinity block so that it fits the whole cat in there. And then of course birds. So it's kind of cool what people are posting and what people are doing and just kind of sharing. And these are all success stories, that people are like, hey, I tried this and it really worked. I felt better. My pet felt better. All that kind of stuff. So that's it. That's quantum healing with LeelaQ. Welcome to LeelaQ. It does have a really wild way of helping. Okay, just keep in mind the cautions. Keep in mind, the different ways to do it. You've got any questions? Come on into the Telegram chat group. Be more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you very much for watching the video. Vielen Dank, all my German friends out there. If you like this kind of content and you want to keep on top of LeelaQ content and more of these types of tutorials and or explanatory videos about how to use this stuff, then you want to definitely subscribe to my channel so you'll keep up on the latest LeelaQ content. Thanks again. Appreciate your time, and I hope this was helpful to you. Aloha.